Hello and welcome back to another edition of Viper Bites. This is one of those emergency podcasts as we have another trade going down in the National Football League. Earlier this week, Russell Wilson packed his bags, no longer sleepless in Seattle as he's heading to Denver. Then we saw Carson Wentz kind of being ushered out of Indianapolis, heading to Washington as kind of the, hey, you know what? We couldn't get Russell Wilson. We couldn't get Aaron Rodgers. So we'll settle for Carson Wentz, as Washington put it. And now the Mack is back in the AFC West as Khalil Mack has been traded from the Chicago Bears to the Los Angeles Chargers. This trade all came down here just a few moments ago here, late last night, however you want to put it, whenever you're watching this. But hey, the Chargers acquired Khalil Mack from the Bears for a second-round pick and a sixth-round pick. Now, people will say, you know what? The Bears did not get enough for Khalil Mack, much the same as people were saying when the Raiders traded Mack to the Bears. Now, here's the thing. The biggest part about this all is going to be the financial freedom from the cap in this deal. Now, back when the Raiders originally traded Mack to the Bears, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, the Raiders got traded Mack and a second along with a seventh-round pick to the Bears for 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a sixth-round pick. Who won that trade? We'll get into that a little bit later, but really, sometimes nobody wins because if you don't do nothing with that draft capital, it ain't no good for nobody. Now, we've seen how aggressive the Los Angeles Rams were last year, trading for Odell Beckham Jr., trading for Von Miller, and maybe the Los Angeles Chargers, hey, we're hanging out in the same building. We're feeling like little sister, little brother right now. Let's go get ourselves a edge rusher. We've seen Aaron Donald and Von Miller and Leonard Floyd do their thing for the Rams in that Super Bowl run. So you got to believe that the Chargers are hoping for a very similar situation to develop here for them. Now, maybe this is also a bit of a reaction to the Broncos acquiring Russell Wilson because the Broncos could arguably be one quarterback away from a postseason berth, to say the very least. Now, in a division, like I said, with Russell Wilson, there's Justin Herbert there with the Chargers. You also have Patrick Mahomes, and you have Derek Carr. And yes, let's put some respect on Derek Carr's name, okay? The arms race in the AFC West is heating up. All roads in this division heading to the championship, they go through Arrowhead here. And last season, we know what happened with the Chiefs. They were where they were. The Raiders, they made the postseason. The Chargers were perhaps a timeout away from the postseason. And the Broncos, they could have possibly been one quarterback away because Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock did not get the job done. Now, Chargers fans, AFC fans, NFL fans, we all know that to get through to Patrick Mahomes, you have to pressure him. You have to make him uncomfortable. And you know what? Adding Khalil Mack to Joey Bosa certainly gets you in prime position to do so. Now, we talk about Mack's ability off the edge. That's great. That's fantastic. That's part of the reason why the Chargers brought him in here. But Mack, he's also a run stopper that does not quite get recognized because of what he can do off the edge. 90-plus PFF grade in 2 of the 4 seasons with Chicago. Obviously, last year he dealt with that foot injury that kept him out for most of the season. And I think the other season that he didn't get 90 on the grading, he was like 86, 87. The biggest part about this is I talk about the run-stopping ability. Why? Because the Chargers ranked 30th against the run last year, and Mack is going to be able to help rectify that situation. And I'm not too sure how much longer Derek Carr and Khalil Mack will be able to remain friends. I mean, their friendship kind of handled its situation there in Chicago. I mean, they were kind of cool there when the Bears came to play the Raiders, but I don't know if this Charger-Raider thing is going to work out for them. We'll see. Sometimes love conquers all. Now, why were the Chargers able to do this? Why are they able to absorb a 3-year contract at $69.3 million? Simple. Justin Herbert is playing as well as any quarterback in the National Football League. He is playing to an MVP level, and the Chargers, because of that, are in the possibilities of Super Bowl contenders here. They obviously didn't make the playoffs last year, but I mean, they're as good a team as any in the National Football League. And take that one step further, Justin Herbert, his cap hit is like $7 million this year, $8.5 million next year. And then obviously he's going to get that big contract down the road. They're also able to sign Mike Williams, get him paid 4 years, $60 million. And the Chargers still have enough money. You have to imagine them going out there and continue to invest in this defense. And maybe J.C. Jackson from the New England Patriots, maybe that's a possibility here to shore up that deep. Oh, man, that's just a scary thought right now. The Chargers adding a stellar corner to this pass rush already. Oh, boy. Now, for the Bears, it's pretty simple when you look at it. The Bears needed draft capital. New GM, new coach. Things are moving and shaking down there. They're going to have to take on a $24 million cap hit and dead cap here this season. But this move was really made for the 2023 season. This frees up about $30 million, which will give the Bears the opportunity to add some weapons to Justin Fields as he continues to develop moving forward. Start putting those pieces in, add that draft capital, put more younger pieces in there. I understand where the Bears are going. And they even did a little bit more housekeeping here in the last little while, releasing Tariq Cohen. He hasn't been right since 2020 when he suffered that knee injury. They also looked for trade partners for Eddie Goldman. Could not find any, so he's been released as well, freeing up a little bit more cap for the Bears to do something here in the offseason. But like I said, this move for the Bears is primarily for 2023 and beyond. Now, I asked you, who won that trade between the Raiders and the Bears way back when? An argument could be made for both, depending on how you want to look at it. Now, the end of that Mack era, a lot of people would consider, Bears fans would say, you know what, we didn't get what we wanted. It's not because of what Mack could or could not do, but like I said, when you have that salary cap, you're trying to build things around there, it makes things difficult to add other pieces. Luckily for the Chargers, they don't have to worry about it because their quarterback is not making $20, $30 million, $40 million, Aaron Rodgers $1 million. He's making $8.5 million. So that helps the Chargers in the addition of Khalil Mack. But you know, the Bears with Mack there, they won the NFC North one time. They never got past the wild card round in the postseason with Mack. He did manage to get three Pro Bowl selections, 2 All-Pro selections. He was a runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year voting in 2018. It's just that all the good stuff came when Mack's first season in the Bears. Tough to find a winner in this whole thing. Maybe you can. Let me know. Hit the comments. Who won the Raiders and the Bears trade way back when? And how are we feeling about this Chargers and the Bears trade now? Now, with every trade, there is some sort of football fallout. Now, we've seen the Broncos go out there and get Russell Wilson. Then we've seen, obviously, the Chargers go out there and get Khalil Mack. Could the Broncos now counter, maybe look and kick tires here on La'el Collins or someone like that, another tackle? Because I can imagine there's going to be some tackles needed to come to that AFC with all these pass rushers that are currently there. I mean, Chris Jones and the Chiefs. You've got Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby with the Raiders. You've got these two studs here in the Chargers organization as well, in Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. Things are going to be fun. Now, if you're the Raiders, what do you do? You've watched everyone add pieces here around you. You know Derek Carr's name has been floated around there as a possible trade option to some quarterback needy type teams. Do the Raiders build with Carr and continue going forward thinking they can contend? Or do they consider reloading considering how this landscape has changed in the last little while? Perhaps they go out there and get themselves their own big fish. Bobby Wagner, the Seattle Seahawks, released him just the other day. Maybe Bobby Wagner becomes a high priority for this Raiders organization. Things are going to change. Things are going to be fluid. And we still don't know how this is all going to shape up. But right now, man, this Chargers team, offensively, defensively, right now, before free agency, before the draft even hits, this team is dangerous all across the board, every which way. I mean, I'm going to be as bold as saying, right now, I have the Chargers winning that AFC West. And I don't care what everyone says about the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are a great team, but I think this is the Chargers' time right now. And when they start adding pieces here in the offseason, maybe add another corner there, J.C. Jackson, like I mentioned, this is going to be a very dangerous team that nobody's going to want to play in 2022. With that all said, use Vipers promo code Vipers22 over at fantasypoints.com. Get 10% off that Fantasy Points subscription today. And you know what? Hey, I guarantee you there's going to be some more news breaking here very shortly. Who knows what's going on? It has been a crazy week in the National Football League. Stay tuned. Plenty more to come.